Magpalitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay cherry loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, cherry loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Power and Play! Narito na ako, Noli Eala, kilalanin ang mga nasa likod ng bawat laro. Sa buhay man o sa playing court, game na tayo! Power and Play sa Radyo 5, 92.3 News FM.
Ang programa ay rated PG. Patnubay at gabay ng magulang ay kailangan sa mga batang manonood. Ang magulang ay kailangan sa mga batang manonood. Ang magulang ay kailangan...
Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko. Para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at huwag magpatalo. Ipag-iwang natin ang Pilipino. Yan ang Pinoy. Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ang bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulo, tsumbe, sibay, lakay, amiga. Sama-samang pakita ang galing natin katropa. Sa kapwa ko Pilipino.
Unang-una gusto ko lang magpasalamat sa mga nila, hindi ko talaga ito kakayanin. Maraming salamat din sa lahat na nagdasal at nagsuporta sa akin. Sa akin mga sponsors, Globe, Nike, Babolat, and of course to my team, the Rocky Nadal Academy. Maraming buong puso ko itong ipinaglaban. Hindi lang para sa sarili ko, kundi para makatulong din ako sa kinabukasan ng Pilipinas. So, hindi lang ito panalo ko, panalo natin ito.
Well, it's time. Kitang umugong sa buong mundo ang mga salita po ng ating kampyong si Alex Eala. Kaya ipagbunyi natin po ang ating atletang Pilipino, di paano? Bangon na! Power and Play na! Power and Play with Noli Eala. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat, mga kapatid. Ito po ang Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum, Cherry Tigo, it's fun to drive. Chooks to go, ang nag-iisang manok ng bayan. True religion, where passion meets power. And of course, we are powered by smart. Live smart. Magandang umaga sa lahat po ng ating mga suki. Maayong buntag kaninyo tanan dyan po sa Cebu City, sa Cagayan de Oro, at sa Davao. And of course, lahat po ng mga nanonood sa atin on 1PH, on Signal TV. Good morning wherever you may be. And hello world, hello Philippines from our Facebook live streaming on 1PH Signal, or rather Power and Play, and of course Radyo 5. Nako yung po mga salita kaninang binigkas ni Alex Eala, 1 week na tayo nagse-celebrate. Hanggang ngayon kinikilabutan pa rin ako. It still brings tears to my eyes. And again, my greatest congratulations, my biggest congratulations sa aking pong pamangkin na si Alex Eala, ang kauna-unahang US Open junior singles champion, unang Grand Slam winner sa tennis para sa ating bansa. And truly, ang kanya pong pagkapanalo ay panalo po ng lahat ng Pilipino. At mamaya po, I caught up with Alex just a few days after nanalo po siya sa Flushing Meadows sa New York Mamaya, itatampok po natin yan, yung mga pinag-usapan namin. Very light discussion, kasama na ang tungkol sa pamilya, ang kanyang mga plano, ang mga nangyari sa kanya sa training, at mga bagay na gusto niyang ibahagi para po sa inyong lahat. Of course, pagkatapos po ng pagkapanalo ni Alex, meron din tayong pinagbunyi-pang isa na namang World Championship. Ito naman po yung pagkapanalo nila Rubilen Amit, Johann Chua at Carlo Biado dun sa Predator World Team 10-Ball Team Championship sa Austria. And again, another huge victory para sa Pilipinas. Nanalo po tayo after an 8-year wait. Nung huli po tayo naglaro dyan, 2014, at kampeon muli ang ating mga pambato na sila Rubilen, Johann at si Carlo. Mamaya po, makakausap din natin si Rubilen Amit at si Johann Chua para po pag-usapan ang kanilang naging paglalakbay patungo sa World 10-Ball Team Championship. And syempre, ang mahalaga ngayon patuloy po tayong magpasalamat sa poong may kapal sa lahat po ng biyayang binibigay sa atin. But at the same time, atin pong ipagbunyi ang ating mga atleta. Sila po ang talagang naghihirap. Sila po ang mga taong nagbibigay ng lakas sa ating pong sports program. At sana nga magtuloy-tuloy na. By the way, welcome back to EJ Buena na kararating din po lamang noong isang araw. Magbabakasyon daw si EJ, kaya wag muna nating dapat nandito sa show Kagad gusto na sana niyang pumunta. Sabi ko magbakasyon ka muna. At kasama niya ang kanyang girlfriend na si Caroline Joyu, na mula po sa Germany, isang triple jumper, national team player din. At sabi ni EJ, magpapahinga siya ng mga 3 linggo dito sa ating bansa. Yung kanyang chill daw muna siya para mawala yung kanyang isip sa competition, and hopefully ay siya ay mas lalo pang lalakas, mababago ang focus pagpasok po ng kanyang paghahanda patungo sa Paris Olympics. So welcome back to EJ Buena. Siya nga pala malapit na magsimula ang PBA. PBA opening na po. I think this week na, no? Ito pong papasok na linggo. At syempre, ang daming inaasahan dyan. Inaabangan po natin ang mga imports na mga maglalaro dyan. At ang isang koponan na inaabangan din po dyan ay yung guest team ng PBA. Yung pong Bay Area Dragons mula sa East Asia Super League. Yan pong team na yan ay pinamumunuan ng isang napakagaling na coach. Si Brian Gorjan na head coach po ng Bay Area Dragons ang mamumuno dyan. Si Coach Gorjan po ay head coach ng Australian national team na lalaban dito sa FIBA World Cup next year. Ganyan po kagaling yung mamang yon. Kaya po ang ating gustong pulsuhan ngayong araw pong ito, ang ating pong pulso ng bayan, hatid sa inyo ng Chooks to Go, ang nag-iisang manok ng bayan. Ito po tungkol din po sa paglalaro ng Bay Area Dragons sa PBA Commissioner's Cup. Ano po ang expectation ninyo sa paglalaro ng ating guest team na Bay Area Dragons sa susunod na conference ng PBA? Again, ulitin ko po yan. Ano po ang expectation ninyo sa paglalaro ng Bay Area Dragons sa PBA Commissioner's Cup? Again, ang ating pong pulso ng bayan na hatid sa inyo ng Chooks to Go, nag-iisang manok ng bayan. Mag-text lamang po kayo sa aming hotline na nakikita nyo ngayon, 0949-691-4956, o di kaya ay mag-post ng inyong komentaryo sa Facebook page ng Power and Play, 1PH Radio 5, o sa aking pong Twitter account. Mamaya po babasahin natin yan. Pinag-uusapan ng mga coaches, pinag-uusapan ng basketball. Well, alam naman natin kung gaano ka-polarizing ang basketball. And at the same time, how unifying it can be. And of course, sa sentro po ng ating programa sa basketball ay ang paghahanda ngayon ng Pilipinas for the FIBA World Cup. At of course, ang marami pong mga bagay-bagay tungkol dyan, ang paghahanda ng Gilas Pilipinas. At isa sa mga taong naging instrumento dyan sa Gilas program na naging gitna o napagitna din sa isang usapang minsan ay masakit, mapait, at nagdulot din ng mga problema ay ating makakapanayan po ngayon. He was part of that program and he left the program almost unceremoniously, and now Coach Tab Baldwin is ready to bear it all. And we have with us this morning no other than my good friend and the Ateneo Blue Eagles head coach, Coach Tab Baldwin. Good morning, Coach.
Power and Play with Noli Eala.
Of course, this portion is brought to you by Cherry Tigo on Fast Day. Good morning, Coach. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Noli. It's good to be with you this morning. And before we start, let me say congratulations on your new position in the PSC.
Wow, thank you so much. Coming from you, that means a lot. And I certainly hope I can pick your brain and, help me out in all of those programs that we're trying to put together.
Anytime, if there's anything that I can do, you only need ask.
You look great. It's been a while, and I want to get to this right away. You had a very good interview very recently on Spin, and you talked about your feelings, your thoughts about what happened in the past. And I although I hate to talk about it, I need to talk about this, and I just want to ask you off the bat, how is your relationship with the SBP?
I would say strained, over the last 6 months. But I think the whole point in me speaking out is that, that there has to be a coming together. And, if the fans weren't interested in me, there wouldn't be any need for me to speak. But, seemingly they have been. And I want to do my part to help for the World Cup. And so, I'm not antagonistic to the SBP. I've kind of left them alone to do their job, and they've left me alone to do my job. But I think because of the angst that's out there in the social media in particular, I think we all need to take steps to try and heal our basketball landscape. And I don't think I'm the main cog in that wheel, but I think that there's a part that I should play. And so I want to play that part. And there's no reason for me to be offside with the SPP or the personalities there. And there's no reason for them to be offside with me. So, let's put it back together and acknowledge the fact that we all want to succeed. And we want the Gilas basketball program to work.
Well,
so that's why I'm speaking out.
Well, when I listen to you and I hear these, this is really the way to move forward. I believe, the coming together, and of course the your offer to help once again the national team. But obviously there has to be closure to this issue, and before we can completely move forward, I think there has to be a phasing of all the things that has happened in the past. And I want to ask you about that, a little bit about that, Coach. You mentioned in your interview that part of the reason why you wanted to transfer the coaching position in the second window was the fact that it would be, in your own words, you said that it was going to be a challenge. There would be a major conflict in the assembling of a team. At that point, there was like losing some players. Players were gone, or at least they were leaving. And at the same time, you also mentioned the conflict on schedule between Ateneo and the national team and even the PBA. Didn't you know this, Coach, even before you accepted the job, that this was something that would happen? And, obviously people were wondering why it had to be a reason for your leaving?
I did know that there would be scheduling conflicts. I didn't know that player availability would always be as tough as it was going to be coming into that window. And I don't think I carefully planned my own conflict of interest between Ateneo and Gilas. I knew that it would exist, but you have to remember we were coming out of the pandemic. And the surety around the UAAP season didn't exist. We didn't know way back in 2021 that there was going to be a season 84, I guess it was, in February. When we knew that, that's when it became very acute that there was going to be, conflicts and then the player availability. The UAAP players wouldn't be available. The PBA players, obviously, en masse, wouldn't be available from all of the teams. But we knew that the PBA players would be available. We just didn't know how many or which ones. And then you had the issue surrounding the Gilas contracted players whose contracts were going to be ending and whether they were going to be renewed. So there was just a lot of doubt at that time. But I think more than anything involving player availability was the fact that I had a contract to be the Ateneo basketball coach and I had a contract to be the Gilas program director, and those two things were not in conflict. Coming into the February window, trying to coach both teams was going to be in conflict. And then when it became reality that most of the players that would be available would be coming from the PBA and would be coming primarily from the MVP group of PBA teams, it just made sense to me. And that's why I had the discussion and the meeting with Boss MVP.
Yeah, right.
And I suggested that to him. This was not his suggestion. This was mine. And it was simply my solution to a sticky situation. And MVP thought it was a good idea.
All right.
And so that's how the meeting ended. He liked the idea and he said, okay, let me talk to Chot, see if that's going to fly on that end of things. And that's how we left the meeting.
So you're saying, Coach, that when you had a discussion with MVP, Mr. Pangilinan, this was very amiable, very amicable. There was no arguments. You mentioned that subsequently there was a decision, or to this meeting, it was decided by the SBP for the sake of stability of in the program on many levels that they would make a change and appoint Chot for the long term. So was this a unilateral decision, or was this mutual? And did you accept this unilateral decision, if ever it was?
Well, if it was unilateral, you'd have to ask all the members of the SBP, I guess. It was not a decision that I was in favor of. I didn't want to leave the program. However, I did accept it because that's what you do when you're an employee. When the bosses sit in front of you and say,
right,
for these reasons, and they didn't just, dismiss me. They gave me their reasons. It's not up to me to like them or not.
Right.
They're the bosses.
Right.
They gave me their reasons and I accepted their reasons.
All right.
And I understood them. I understood that they didn't want to chop and change the coaching position, which had been my stance on it. They wanted stability there. And in terms of the program director, as I said in the interview, they just didn't see that it made a lot of sense to have a coach like Chot, who is very capable of running a program. He's done it in the past. To have somebody like me sitting above him, making decisions that he would have to obviously go out and implement. They thought that Chot was capable of doing that. And for the sake of stability in the program, that was their decision. And so, yes, I accepted that. I decided to move forward. I still work for MVP as the coach of Ateneo. I also work for Ateneo University, of course. And that was my job. And, I was raised by my father to keep my mouth shut and do my job. So that's what I did. And, that's kind of brought us to here.
So, but you're moving out of Gilas did not mean that you could not work with Chot. Let's just clear that up.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And there were statements at the time that might happen, and I was okay with that. It hasn't happened. It didn't happen. And I'm okay with that.
All right. Well, let me ask you also about another very sensitive and issue that has been discussed very quietly on the sides. Some people are saying that you were removed from Gilas because of your involvement, so to speak, allegedly, in the exodus of players. What is your position? What is your reaction to that, Coach Tab?
That's absolute nonsense. I don't want those players to leave the Gilas program. As far as their decision about their future, I want players to have options, and I want them to be free to exercise their options. It is not in my best interest. It is not in, obviously, the PBA's best interest that players go overseas. But, you know, what is my role as the Ateneo head coach? My role, and as an educator in the University of Ateneo, my role is to help my players achieve their full potential so they can go out and get the best jobs for themselves that they want. And I think that's the role of, I don't want to compare myself to a professor, but if I were a professor at Ateneo and I was in the music school or the engineering school or the law school, my job would be to educate my students to the best of their potential so that they can go into the marketplace and secure the best positions for themselves. My job is not to act as an agent for any particular facet of the industry that they're going into, and I don't do that in any way, shape, or form.
All right.
All I do is try to educate my players, and then if they come to me for advice about their future, I'll offer that, but that's between me and the player. But in no way am I acting on behalf of any entity outside of Ateneo University.
There have been talks about, you know, the reason for, you know, the program going awry is because of your sudden departure, and, you know, you left the program and, you know, Chot had to take over in the middle. Do you think that it was a mistake to just have left the program, and which affected the program negatively, or do you think that you left the program that was solid enough to have been carried by any coach?
The program was always going to be a difficult program heading into the World Cup. You know, this year facing the SBP, facing Chot, if I was in that role, it wouldn't be any less difficult. It's going to be really tough, you know, but it's a World Cup. It's supposed to be tough. And it's going to be tough for all the countries. I don't think that my departure from the program in any particular way has brought the program down. I think the timing of my meeting, as I said, with MVP was not good for the February window. I think I could have done that sooner. But I don't know how much sooner, because, you know, having to weigh up all the factors that were at play, that were in play heading into that window, you know, I kind of just weighed all those up, and I made a decision when I got back from the States that this would be the best course for the program, thinking only that I was looking at the February window, that I wasn't looking at the next year and a half. So, you know, the moment in time that happened and the impact from that moment, yeah, it's been hard on the program, but I didn't foresee that the decision that I made would cause these problems. I knew the February window would be tough, whoever coached it, but I was just in a conflicting situation where I was contracted to be the Ateneo coach,
right,
and I was not contracted to be the Gilas coach.
Okay.
So I had to do my job, in my opinion. And Boss MVP said to me at the time, he said, "Well, are you going to be available to help?" And I said, "Boss, of course I will be available to help. So anytime I'm not working with Ateneo, I'm not at training, I'll be able to be with the Gilas team." Now, I didn't know when those practices would be. I didn't know how much that would be or would not be. But I knew that if I was not in direct conflict, then I'd be at the Gilas trainings in my role as the program director,
But
helping in any way that I could.
be frank with me, Coach Tab. Was the Ateneo job enough? And you know, was the Gilas, stint something that you were just pitching in, or because a lot of people believe your stature deserves a national team coach. How what do you say to that? I mean, are you satisfied with just being in the college scene, or was it something that you were also looking forward to in terms of your helping? I'm not saying about taking over, but just helping the national team program.
Well, Noli, I was the program director. I didn't step aside from that role.
Right.
I thought that I would continue to be part of Gilas, and I took that job very seriously. I really believed that part of my role as the program director was to make sure that we had the best coach available for the World Cup. And I was thinking that we would be, potentially bringing foreign coaches in, that I would put myself in that role probably again when it fit the schedule. And then ultimately, if I was going to be decided to be the head coach, and it wasn't fully my decision, as has played out. Right. But if I was going to be in that role, then I probably would have to step back from the Ateneo role later in 2022. But at that point of 2022 in February, I wasn't thinking that way.
Right.
And so my thought was that, I'll be part of Gilas in some capacity. Heading into the World Cup in 2023. Decisions were made that I wasn't to be part of it. And the SBP had their reasons.
Right.
Let's not just throw stones at the SBP and say that, just for no reason at all, they decided that I wasn't the right guy. They had their reasons. And when you look at it on the surface, those reasons are reasonable.
Right.
Wanting stability, wanting to make sure that we didn't have conflicting situation, because the Philippine basketball landscape has a lot of conflict in it, by design almost.
Yeah. Well,
and working through that isn't always easy. And so that's what they were trying to do.
All right. That's fair. That's very fair. And I understand, how you have to juggle so many hats and so many roles, and obviously that is something that is very, very difficult. But Coach, why did it take you so long to come out and talk about this? We've seen the kind of criticism, to say the least, on Coach Chot. Of course, after those losses in the FIBA Asia Cup in the Southeast Asian Games. But why did it take you so long? And do you think those criticisms on Coach Chot are unfair?
The reason it took me so long is because I made a decision in the beginning that I wouldn't speak out, that I was not going to, enter the fray, and that I was going to keep myself quiet because I didn't see that speaking out would help anything. I think that was wrong. I don't know how else to say that. I think that my heart was in the right place by not wanting to go into the media and criticize anybody and inflame the situation. And I thought that it would die down. Nobody foresaw, the results that were going to come. And then the impact of those results. I don't have a crystal ball. And I think that it's, a conspiracy of circumstances in a way that things just got worse and worse and worse. And you know how it is sometimes when you think you should say something and you don't. Yeah. And then time goes by and then you're thinking to yourself, oh, now it's going to look even worse if I speak up now. I kind of went through that phase as well, that I thought, oh, now if I go in and speak, it's going to make things, even if I say the right things, it's going to make things worse. And I kind of went through that phase. And then, of course, after the Saudi game, I was sad. I guess that's the best way to put it. I was disheartened by. I guess many people would think that I would be pleased to see, sort of an active action by the public to support me, maybe, but I wasn't. I wasn't. It's not good for the team, and you have to remember that those players are my friends.
Right.
Many of those players, and I want them to succeed. I don't want to be any part of them failing. And then, of course, Dwight Ramos and Jordan Clarkson speaking out. I think that was the example that I needed. That their courage kind of gave me the courage that it took, because I knew that speaking out was going to be a big thing, and I want it to be a positive thing. I don't want it to exacerbate this whole situation. I really want the fans to just, in spite of what they might feel, I want them to turn around and support the team.
Very good.
I genuinely want that. And it doesn't mean that coaches don't deserve criticism. Coach Chot knows as well as I do that's part of being a coach. It's just gone too far.
Yeah.
And it's gone to an extent where people are not supporting the program. And even if they say they are, and they're just against Chot, I don't think they realize the impact on the team of this level of criticism. And it isn't supporting the team.
Right.
It is hurting the team.
All right.
Even though people might be targeting their criticism only on the coach, it just doesn't work that way.
All right.
And I know I've been in that position, not to this extent, but I know that the players come in and they look at you, they feel sorry for you, they feel sorry for themselves, and they only want to hear the cheers. And they want to play hard for those cheers. And that's what they get.
You mentioned in your interview, and I have a couple of questions here very quickly. You said that it is unfair to compare the success of your 2021 Gilas team to what Chot handled because you had ample time to prepare. So I guess you're saying here that the formula for success is time, regardless of the team composition. And I guess I'm asking this already to move forward. Do you think that given this 3-month window, now that people are getting together, this Gilas team will succeed?
Noli, first of all, let me speak to the magnitude of that decision by the PBA and obviously in negotiation with SBP. A lot of people are applauding that, and they should. It is an extraordinary measure taken by the PBA and negotiated by the SBP. I think that, as a coach, I would love to be in that position. And
if you had that, you would really like it.
It would be, a dream come true. But it cannot be underestimated how difficult a decision that was. A lot of people say, the PBA should be 2 conferences. I don't think they stop and think about somebody like you, Noli, who loses one whole conference of work in terms of media coverage. They don't think about the concessionaires at Araneta and at MOA. They don't think about the ticket takers, the security people, the media people, all the people that will lose income because of there not being a 3rd conference. This is a huge step taken by the PBA and not taken lightly. And the fans must understand this was not easy for the PBA to do. This wasn't just a Gilas thing. This is a PBA decision which is extraordinary. And it is a massive sacrifice. And it's something that I alluded to in my interview about the sacrifice that people are making. There's a lot of people sacrificing for Gilas. Here's the other side to it. It gives the coaching staff, Coach Chot and his staff, an immeasurable amount of time to prepare. But I wonder, is he going to have the full team? And for how much of that 3 months? Because every minute of preparation that you have a full team goes a long way toward being a strong basketball team. Mm-hmm. Every minute you don't have the full team, you take away from the quality of preparation that 3 months gives you.
Right, right.
So obviously I'm talking about players like Jordan Clarkson, Kai Soto, AJ Edu, the players playing in Japan,
Right.
the players playing in Korea and Taiwan. How much of that 3 months will be there? So while the 3 months is great, what we really have to focus on is Chot going to get 1 week with those guys?
Right.
Or is he going to get 1 month, which would be extraordinary in itself?
Right.
So,
Okay.
the jury is still out on the value of that 3 months, but it is an extraordinary measure achieved by the SBP and taken by the PBA.
All right. Well, I know there's still a lot of things that we can talk about. This deserves a part 2. But let me ask you before I let you go, Coach. There's a hashtag about bring back Tab, and you've said it already in your interview. Let's forget that. You're appealing that that should not be used anymore. But I think people can actually use that, because bring back Tab could also mean you're helping the Gilas program. Are you willing to help and go back to assist Coach Chot, the SBP, basketball in general, to make her participation in the FIBA World Cup a success?
Always have been. There's no prevarication on my part for that, and Boss MVP knows that. And I received a text message I'm very grateful for from Boss Al last night. So obviously, I don't want to call it the healing process, but obviously the process of communication is underway. And I think this should totally be Chot's decision, nobody else's. If I was in Chot's shoes, I wouldn't want anybody telling me who I should have on my staff and who I should be assembling. And Chot has to make that decision, not just based on, am I a good coach? He has to make that decision, if he's even thinking about that decision, based on, would my inclusion be a positive for the program and the team? And that is a complex question and a complex answer.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us should just think of that and look at it very simply as, would Coach Tab's coaching knowledge and experience be a benefit to the team? It's much, much more than that.
All right.
So I don't want to impose any pressure on Chot. But from my position, if I can help, and I'm trying to help now, and if this is the sum total of the help that I can give, that's fine.
Right.
That's fine.
Well,
and if it does help, great. So I want to leave it at that.
Yep. Well, Coach, how I feel about you, how much I respect you, how much I admire your talent, your greatness in coaching. But I admire you even more now for the humility to accept what has happened in the past, and of course for your coming and appealing that we all come together for the sake of basketball. And I truly enjoy this time, and I hope and I wish you all the best. I hope that I can see you in the Gilas program. But like you, I will be a fan cheering on our national team all the way to the FIBA World Cup. Maraming salamat, Coach Tab.
I think that we all have to commit to being the greatest sixth man in the history of the sport for this team for World Cup 2023. And I want to be part of that sixth man as well.
You can sit beside me, for sure.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you so much, Coach. Thank you so much.
God bless, Noli. Take care.
Mga kaibigan, ang Ateneo head coach and of course the former project director ng Gilas Pilipinas, Coach Tab Baldwin. This is a chapter that we all have to grasp now. Now that I'm also in a position where I can help Philippine basketball in another capacity, I appeal to everyone. Let's get together. Let's just work together. I mean, marami po tayo mga opinion. Ako ho, maraming opinion tungkol sa Gilas. And you know that. Nasa social media po yan. But it doesn't mean that we cannot come together. And I think Coach Tab is appealing to everyone, is reaching out across the aisle. And I think it is being met with warmness and acceptance by the SBP. Kung kaya po nating magkaisa, tayo po ay magiging successful. And let's just do that because this is the time to get together. Mag-unify po tayo para sa ating bayan patungo ng FIBA World Cup. Alright, before we take a break, isa muna pong paalala mula sa ating mga kaibigan sa Smart. Puso Pilipinas is a movement to celebrate the Filipino athlete powered by Smart. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Get a chance to win exclusive Puso Pilipinas merch by sharing their Facebook page in your social media accounts with hashtag Puso Pilipinas. The Giga Life app is the latest mobile app from Smart that lets you discover and enjoy your passions with the different Giga promos. It can be downloaded and used by Smart Postpaid, Smart Prepaid, Bro Prepaid, and TNT subscribers via the Apple or Google Play Store. What can the Giga Life app do for me? Check your balance, monitor your current subscription, top up using debit credit card, subscribe to the latest Giga promos, monitor your data consumption, auto-detect your mobile number when you are connected to Smart Network one-tap subscription to the most popular offer, Giga Video 99. And of course, Power and Play is powered by Smart. Live Smart! We'll take a break sa amin pong pagbabalik. Rubilen Amit and Johann Chua, ang ating mga kampeon sa bilyar sa Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, Cherry Tigo, Chooks to Go, at ng True Religion. Ang oras po natin, 8:42 ng umaga.
I dare to dream big. To be a voice of my generation. To inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai's stories on Twitter and share yours. With Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day, plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart ako.
Alex, are you ready to have some fun on your first driving lesson?
Nag-uumapaw sa real chicken juice na swak sa panlasa ng buong pamilya. Available in sweet roast, pepper roast, at harissa roast variants. Chooks to Go. Masarap kahit walang sauce. Tawag na sa Chooks to Go Delivery Hotline 8687-1010 o online sa chookstogodelivery.com or via GrabFood at Foodpanda.
Kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay Cherry Loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Prepare your heart for an all-out clash. Catch the Premier Volleyball League Invitational Conference. Games every Tuesdays, 2:30 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. Thursdays and Saturdays, 2:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. on One Sports.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay Cherry Loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Mga kapatid, abangan ang Calgary Queens. Malapit na po.
Simula October 1, 8:30 p.m. sa TV5. At October 2, 8 p.m. sa Sari Sari.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay Cherry Loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Power and Play. Game na sa Radyo 5 92.3 News FM. Power and Play with Noli Eala.
Back sa Power and Play, mga kapatid. Happy birthday nga pala sa aking kaibigan si Francis Fernando. Belated happy birthday kay Diane Castillejo and my other kumpare si Vince Abella. Alright, bago natin ipasok ang ating interview sa ating mga kampiyon sa bilyar, isa pong muling pag-anyaya sa Joyride Top-Up promo dito po sa Power and Play. Napakadali po para manalo ng 1,000 pesos e-wallet credits. Mag-download lamang po ng the latest version ng Joyride Super App. Take a screenshot ng inyong app's home screen, kasama po yung account name, at ito po ipadala sa yung screenshot po ipadala sa Facebook page ng Power and Play via private message. Include nyo po ang inyong pangalan at ang inyong registered mobile number sa inyong Joyride account. Pipili po kami ng 5 mananalo at the end of the show ng 1,000 pesos JR Pay Wallet credits mula po sa Joyride Super App. Ang bago nyo pong kasundo. Of course, magagamit nyo yung mga credits na yan for delivery, for motorcycle taxi, and of course, sa aming Joyride car. So, again, sali na po ang Joyride Super App Top-Up promo. Alright, kagaya na nabalita ko, couple of days ago, nanalo po ang ating koponan sa bilyar ng Predator World 10-Ball Team Championship. Rubilen Amit, the first female world champion ng Pilipinas sa bilyar, at si Johann Chua, isa sa pinakabatang naglaro at naging pambato ng Pilipinas pagdating sa billiards. Kasama nila si Carlo Biado, of course, na sila ay nanalo ng kampyonato. But today, we have with us, nakausap po natin ang 2 sa 3 miyembro na yan, si Rubilen at si Johann, dito po sa aming interview at exclusive na panayam sa Power and Play. Part of the team nanalo ng Predator World 10-Ball Team Championships sa Austria. Walang iba kundi ang ating first female Filipino World Pool Champion, si Rubilen Amit. And of course, si Pupuit, Johann Chua sa Power and Play. Magandang araw, Rubilen and Johann. Thank you for joining us today.
Magandang araw din po, sir, and maraming salamat for having us on your show.
Ano, unang-una, let me ask the two of you, kasi alam naman natin the big news na talagang gumising at pinagbunyi ng bayan ay ang pagkapanalo natin sa Predator World 10-Ball Team Championship. Meron na kayong mga nakuhang interview, and we're doing this interview on a Wednesday night going into our show. But meron na kayong nagawang, may mga na-interview na kayo. Sabi mo, Rubilen, ito ay kakaiba. It was a different format, different tournament. Gaano ka-different ito para sa iyo?
For me, sir, of course, it's exciting. Lalo na po yung format ngayon. It's different from the last one po noong 2014. Ngayon talaga, it's more exciting at saka sobrang mas nakakaba. And I really look forward to it because sa team event po kasi, ang dami kong natututunan with the guys. Kasi side by side, like for example, si Carlo yung tumitira and then Johan is beside me. I-explain niya po sa akin kung ano yung mga nangyayari. And then in the same way na pag si Johan naman po ang naglalaro, si Carlo would explain it to me. So parang, it's more of a learning experience for me more than the tournament itself. And of course, gusto ko rin manalo to bring honor to the country. So I'm very blessed na kasama ko si Johan and si Carlo na nanalo po kami dito sa World Teams po, na first time po na nanalo ang Philippines.
Para sa mga uneducated, Johan, ano ba ang naging change ng format dito?
Kasi ang ginawa nila is race to 4 na lang and best of 5 po. So,
race to 4? Oh, so mabilis. Oh.
Silang siya. It's very short race po para po sa aming mga players kasi normally talaga naglalaro kami race to 9, race to 11, something like that po in tournaments. But this time po, it's race to 4. Tapos halos 1 match sa men, 1 match sa women, and then doubles po. And mabot po kayo sa 4th set. It's the captain team speak po kung sino yung maglalaro. So, pwedeng lalaki yung piliin ng namin, pwedeng babae sa kabila, pwede ba sila maglaban, depende po yun. And then, yung pinaka-crucial po is pag umabot kayo sa, pag nagputo kayo sa score, yung pang-5, yung shootout talaga, yun yung parang free throw shot na nakakabagra.
parang sa soccer, yung parang sa football na penalty kick, ganon. Sudden death, ika nga. Pero before you got to the finals, Rubilen, ano naging proseso? Paano kayo nakarating sa finals?
Yung first po namin nakalaban was, anong country nga yun, Brit?
Switzerland.
Switzerland. And then, actually sir, nakalaban po namin ang Great Britain sa second match namin. And nag-shootout po kami dahil nag-2-all po kami sa matches, sa sets. As a set. And then,
nanalo kayo?
Opo, and then nag-advance kami sa quarterfinals. And then sa quarter, sinong nakalaban natin? Bet, ikaw naman
Explain mo nga.
Kwento.
Poland. And then sa semifinals, sino nakalaban nyo?
Germany. Na nag-shootout din po.
Wow! Grabe pala, no? Parang dumaan kayo sa butas ng karayom pala dito.
Opo. Nag-miss lang si Thorsten. Si Thorsten Homan. And yung mga nagmi-miss po, sir, puro mga din po yun, puro world champions and talaga yun, mga tituladong mga athlete, mga players.
Ang bihira, grabe talaga. Tulog ng langit talaga itong panalo. Bangka. Johan, ito ba napaghandaan ninyo? Gaano kayo nagtagal nag-training, nagsama-sama? Kagaya kanina, binabanggit ni Rubilen, meron kayo talagang strategy, no? Meron kayong, kumbaga, gina-guide nyo yung isa't isa. Pero even before the tournament, kayo ba ay talagang nag-ensayo together at sinabi nyo ganito ang ating gagawin in certain situations?
Yes po. Nalaman na namin yung tournament parang 2 months before ng yung date niya. And before, 1 month before, yun. Actually, meron na talaga kaming plan ni Carlo. Actually, hindi alam ni Rubilen yun. Meron na kaming plan kung ano yung magiging line. Kami lang ni Carlo alam. So, dating namin dun sa Austria, so hindi pa ni Rubilen alam yung lineup. So, nabago siya. Kasi, nalaman namin yung format na nakuha namin yung magiging style. So, napag-usapan namin lahat na, okay, sige, ganito na. Supposedly, dapat ako po yung maglalaro sa single and si Carlo po and si Rubilen yung magdo-doubles. Ganun po talaga yung napag-usapan namin ni Carlo na magiging plano. Pero, yun nga, nung nandun na kami, dumating na kami, first day, nakita namin kung paano yung laro, paano nangyari. So, napag-decide namin na dapat si Carlo talaga yung maglaro since siya talaga yung pinakamasahid sa amin and mas maigi na yung mas pinakamatibay ang unang maglaro.
So, would you say, Rubilen, kayo ay unexpected ito o kumpiyansa naman kayo na nakapaghanda kayo and that kaya nyo ang kalaban sa Austria?
Of course, sir, kumpiyansa ako dahil ka-teammate ko si Johann and si Carlo, which is maganda po yung mga performances nila. And alam naman natin na matitibay po itong mga players na ito. But yung mindset po kasi namin as a team is that one match at a time. Actually, one game at a time nga kami. Hindi namin iniisip yung championship na atin na to. Yung parang sa term namin, papatukin namin. Hindi po, kasi mas lalo lang kami mape-pressure. So, na-excite po kami kasi bawat panalo, nisip namin, ito na yung prize money natin. Pag sa susunod, ito na yung prize money natin. So, parang nakakatuwa po dahil para kaming mga magkakaibigan na talagang nag-e-enjoy.
Naglaro lang.
Pero,
lang.
pero sobrang pressured kami. Talagang din po kami talaga. Kahit eksperyensado na kami, talagang gusto rin namin manalo para sa bansa natin.
Magkano ba ang prize money na nakuha nyo?
Magkano daw, Bit? Napainom ka ng kape. Ikaw na
napainom ka ng kape, Johan.
40,000 euro po.
Aba, pambihira naman pala. Talaga naman pala kailangan uminom ng kape at magpainit ng konti, di ba?
May tax. Baka sabihin ng
may
mga
tax
tao,
pa,
marami silang pera.
hindi.
May 20% po tax.
Tinatago nyo lang sa inyong mga magulang at sa inyong mga mahal sa buhay, kaya alam po, dapat hindi ko na naitanong. Anyway, okay. Ito tanong ko lang, Rubilen. Ikaw muna, Johan. Alam mo, obviously, itong pagkakataon na to para makatandem mo si Rubilen is a rare moment, rare opportunity. In fact, I think, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, ito yung una niyong pagkakataon magsama. Gaano kalaking tulong sa iyo si Rubilen? At anong masasabi mo sa kanya bilang isang billiards player?
Siyempre po, si Rubilen kasi nagkakilala kami ni Ate Bing talaga. 8 or 9 years old pa lang ako, talagang isa na siya sa mga, talagang mga ina-idol ko din po. And siyempre si Carlo matagal ko na rin kilala. And sobrang saya ko na unang first world title ko po is kasama ko po si Bingkay dahil siyempre sobrang talagang parang fan ako niyan simula dati pa. Kaya ibang klase to, hindi ko malilimutan to sa lahat ng panalo na nakuha ko na. And yun.
Ikaw naman, Rubilen, anong thoughts mo kay Bubwit? At hanggang saan sa tingin mo makakarating ang si Johann sa kanyang career?
Ayun po, as Johan mentioned po, I met him 8 years old pa lang. Dati mas matangkad pa ako sa kanya, pero ngayon talagang malayo na po yung agwat namin sa tangkad. I really enjoyed yung partnership po namin kasi ang gaan niya pong kasama. At saka at the same time, hindi siya na talagang tinuturuan niya ako, sinasabi niya rin kung ano yung tamang tira, gina-guide niya ako. At saka pinapakalma niya din ako, lalo sa singles. Kapag medyo na-excite na ako, sabihin niya, take time. So, kahit na sobrang ahead ako in terms of age and sa tagal po nang naglalaro, but his maturity po sa game niya, hindi rin po matatawaran. Kaya nakikita ko po talaga marami pa tong maaabot to si Johan. I'm sure na hindi lang ito yung World Championship na makukuha niya. Sabi nga niya sana susunod, wala ng S. Diba, Bit? Kasi sobrang excited ako for him when we won. As in, ulit-ulit ako sa kanya. Sabi ko, alam mo bang World Champion ka na? Ulit-ulit ako. Kaso, it's a team, so World Champions. World Champions. Sabi niya, sana susunod, wala na daw yung S, World Champion. Which I really believe po na mangyayari yon very soon.
Well, I have no doubt kung mga mentor mo, Johann, katulad ni Rubilen, and of course, Carlo. No? Alam naman natin, Carlo is the reigning world champion. No? And talking about Carlo, for a brief moment dito, Johann, do you think that si Carlo ngayon is at the top of his game at saka talaga siyang, kumbaga, parang nagiging face of billiards na ngayon dahil talagang napakarami niyang napapanalunan?
Yes po, talagang sobrang saya ko kay Carlo kasi alam mo dati pa yan si Carlo na sobrang galing na talaga, sobrang hindi niya makuha yung sobrang tagal, hindi niya makuha yung momentum niya in terms of tournament kasi masipag talaga yung tao na yan. And few years back, nakuha niya yung unang title niya, sunod-sunod lahat. Talagang deserve niya yun dahil parang para sa akin, parang sayang naman kung hindi niya makuha yun kasi hindi lahat ng tao nabibigyan ng ganyan talent kagaya nung sa kanya. Kaya nga, sobrang saya ako sa kanya na nakuha niya and nakamit niya lahat ng halos kailangan mo mapanalunan sa bilyar, nakuha niya na. So, sobrang masaya po.
Well, everybody is very happy para sa kay Carlo at sa inyong dalawa, of course, sa inyong pagkapanalo and of course para sa bayan. And Rubilen, this is our first team title in quite some time, no? In fact, the first World Netball Team Championship, nagpangalawa lamang tayo noong 2014. At ang China ang naging kampiyon ng panahon na yun. How significant is this victory para sa Philippine Billiards, para sa iyo, Rubilen?
For me, sir, of course, it just shows na kumpleto tayo. Kumbaga, hindi lang sa male, but also sa female. And at the same time, na-showcase po yung yung creativity. Kasi naririnig ko po talaga sa mga commentators is that they kept on praising yung pagiging creative, pagiging magaling sa banda ng mga Pilipino, which is ito po nakuha din namin kay Tatay Efren, yung the GOAT po natin. Of course, idolo ng bawat Pilipino. So, for me po, it's big dahil lalo na po galing tayo sa pandemic. Actually, we're still in the pandemic. And ito po, nangyayari po ito, nananalo ang mga Pilipino kahit pandemic. Si Carlo po nanalo ng US Open and then si Johann semifinals, nag-bronze po sa World Championships. I think a year ago, tama ba? A year ago. Mm-hmm. And then ito po, nag-champion po tayo sa World Team Championships. So, tuloy-tuloy pa rin, malaking bagay po ito dahil pinapakita sa buong mundo na ang Pilipino talagang tuloy-tuloy pa rin. We're very consistent.
Oo. Well, nabanggit mo sila Efren Bata Reyes, of course, ang gold standard, hindi lamang ng Philippine Billiards, kundi ng buong mundo, no? And of course now this new blood coming in to play. Johann, sa tingin mo ba kayang ibalik ang ningning ng billiards with the new crop of billiard players katulad mo? Of course, si Rubilen is one of the veterans, but she's still the best female billiards player of the country. Sa tingin mo ba yung new blood ngayon talagang kayang ibalik yung renaissance na panahon ng billiards nung nagahari si Bata and of course si Django Bustamante and the many more na naglaro sa before you?
Yes po. Sorry po. Yes po, syempre ang daming batang magagaling ngayon and they just need to be guided lang po talaga para makaka-focus sila dun sa goal nila, which is to be like Efren po and talagang lang, ang galing natin sa bilyar talagang nandyan, hindi mawawala, gifted tayo when it comes to billiard po. Yun lang, talagang kailangan lang natin sila and yun, mabuti nandyan si Ate Bingkay, andyan sila Carlo, na sinusundan namin, na nakikita namin yung ginagawa nila, nagpapatuloy sila and bilang kami yung sumusunod sa kanila, ayun din yung gusto kong ipakita sa mga na nangangarap, nag-uumpisa pa lang na kaya natin lahat, basta magtiwala tayo at nasa tamang direction lang ng buhay, ng isip mo para, yung mindset mo para
Very good. Well, Rubilen, sabi ko you're still very, very competitive. Nanalo ka nga ngayon and then of course you're still the face of women's billiards. But as you move forward in your career, dahil lahat naman tayo ay lilipas, higangan. At how do you see your role dito sa billiards, Philippine billiards, particularly sa women's billiards and of course women's sports? How do you see your role as you move forward?
Actually, it's a very good question of yours, sir, because I really feel na everything's evolving already. Parang dumadating na po ako sa point na ngayon, parang dati focus ko ako. Kailangan, gusto kong makuha to, but right now po, I also would like to mention yung kasamahan ko po si Cheska Centeno, who I believe is actually better than I am. Kasi sobrang galing na po nung bata. I think with more years and a bit more maturity, talagang marami po siyang masusungkit na kampyonato. Way more than I did or I will be getting. Sa ngayon po, I have the Amit Cup, which is yung tournaments for amateur women.
Wow.
Opo. So with our tournament director si Ren De Vera, we did it in May. Kasabay po, actually nung una nga po wala ako dito because it was the SEA Games. So yung una po, the participants was 24 and then the second 32 and then the third 56. Record breaking po yun kasi yun yung pinakamaraming female na umattend sa isang tournament and it's all women players because I'm looking for more women players na sana who would replace me. At hindi lang po yun kasi sa international tournament po ang dami ng mga babaeng sumasali, like dati China isa lang pero ngayon ang dami na. Gusto ko, pangarap ko po yung ganun, nakumpul na kami pag pupunta ng ibang bansa. Ngayon po kasi kami ni Cheska palagi, but I'm hoping na grupo na rin kami ng mga babaeng Pilipina na sasabak sa laban in the future.
Alright. Well, napakagandang plano yun. Of course, that's part of the, I guess, sports development ng billiards, paghahanap ng bagong talent, yung mga ganyang klase, mga amateur tournaments and talagang, I think, as I speak, for the PSG, talagang yan ay mga bagay na gusto naming suportahan because yan ang susi para lalo pang lumaganap yung sport ng billiards. But, Yon, let me ask you, alam naman natin, ang image ng billiard is, nung araw diba, billiard panglarong kanto, panglaro ng, nung araw na may mga pustahan, diba ganyan. Is it part of your vision, yung inyong mission at yung paglalaro ninyo na talagang ma-uplift ang paglalaro ng billiards into a sport that is at par with anyone dahil alam naman natin na napakalaki din ang premyo pagdating sa billiards. So, yan ba ay kasama sa ginagawa mong advocacy sa paglalaro mo ng billiards?
Yes po, talaga, hindi ko naman nung araw talagang nag-register. Parang yun nga, larong tambay, larong kanto siya. Pero yun po, lumabas si Amang Balita, lumabas lalo na si Tatay Efren. At binago niya yung imahe ng billiard po sa hindi na sa Pilipinas kundi sa buong mundo. Kaya talagang pangarap ko rin na alam mo yun, na bilang ako or kami nila Carlo na sana masundan pa kami ng mga bata na maging ano sila sa tournament, more on tournament talaga kasi nandito talaga yung dito tayo makikilala and labas yung talent natin, hindi lang basta diyan ka lang sa kanto-kanto maglaro or sa kung saan man.
Kulang ba tayo, Rubilen, ng tournaments? Alam natin nung araw, napakarami. Of course, tumama ang pandemya. Pero sa tingin mo, we need more international tournaments, local and international tournaments ba sa Pilipinas?
Yes sir, I believe so because katulad po ng sinabi ni Johann, ni Bugwit, is that ang dami po nating talento dito. Ang dami-dami po talaga, lalo sa mga lalaki. Kaso lang po, wala silang masyadong exposure.
Mapaglaruan.
So, opo. So, the more na magkaroon ng tournaments, the more na maging familiar and maging comfortable po sila sa laro ng torneo. Pagdating sa ibang bansa, may dadala po nila yung experience at saka yung learnings po na yun. So, malaking bagay po talaga. Although ngayon po, mas nagkakaroon ng opportunities dahil nagkakaroon na po ng mga tournaments through local LGUs, and private sponsors, and even po si Senator Manny Pacquiao, which is meron po tayo sa December. So I'm really happy about it. And yun po, sa women's naman po, in my own little way, yun po, but ito po, maliit lang po kasi yung premyo nung akin. Kasi yun lang po yung kaya ko rin through mga ibang mga kaibigan na nagbibigay. So ito po yung mga ginagawa po ng mga new generation of athletes po para matulungan, ma-uplift po yung billiards, lalo na po yung imahe, tama po kayo. Dahil like si Johann, si Carlo, yung mga bago po nating mga players, mga athletes, are good ambassadors of the game. Mataas po ang respeto ng mga taga-ibang bansa pag sinabi mong Filipino players. Alam nilang, kasi, opo, even yung, sorry if medyo mahaba yung sagot ko, but I really want to, din na kung gaano natin dinadala yung bansa natin sa mundo. Yung kalaban po namin, yung Great Britain, na-mention po nila sa post nila, nilang tatlo lahat sila, ang sinabi nila, they're a great team, and then kadugtong po, but they're nice people.
Very nice.
Kumbaga, they're a great team to beat, but they're nice people. Kumbaga, na-highlight doon na yung respeto nila sa amin, kasi marami pong champion dyan, pero yung champion person po talaga yung importante.
Alright. Well, yan po mga kaibigan ng ating mga kampeon sa bilyar, membro ng World 10-Ball Team Champions Philippines, si Rubilen Amit at si Johann Chua. Nakita nyo naman, ha? Again, it is the character of the Filipino na lumalabas. They are great champions because they are great people. Hindi lamang po skill, kung hindi po ang ating ugali, ang ating pong pwedeng ipagmalaki sa buong mundo. Alright, bago tayo mag-break, pinag-uusapan natin ang bilyar. Silipin muna natin ang ating mga viral videos at pop culture sa mundo ng palakasan sa Stop and Pop.
Power and Play with Noli Eala.
Ito pong ating video na itatampok ngayon ay tungkol sa bilyar. Sabi nila, kung para kang gumaling sa bilyar, kailangan hindi ka lang magaling na atleta, magaling ka rin sa mga anggulo. Pero kung wala kang magic, pwede ka sigurong gumamit ng mathematics. Panoorin po nyo nito, ha? Ito pong batang ito, naglalaro ng bilyar sa online, no? Yung video game. Gumamit pa talaga ng triangle, ruler, si kuya, para maipasok yung bola. Panoorin nyo, kita nyo naman. Matalino yung bata, Siguro, malaki nakataya dito. Eksaktong-eksakto yung kanyang tira. Kung wala kang magic na parang Efren Bata, baka kailangan mo lang ng math para manalo dyan. At yan po ang ating Stop and Pop moment sa Power and Play. Sa amin pong pagbabalik, ang ating kakausapin, walang iba kung hindi si Alex Eala, ang ating Grand Slam champion sa Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, Cherry Tigo, Chooks to Go, at ng True Religion. Ang oras po natin, 9:08 ng umaga.
I dare to dream big. To be a voice of my generation. To inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai Stories on Twitter and share yours. With Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day, plus data for all sites.
Simple. Smart ako.
Alex, are you ready to have some fun on your first driving lesson?
Nag-uumapaw sa real chicken juice na swak sa panlasa ng buong pamilya. Available in sweet roast, pepper roast, at harissa roast variants. Chooks to go. Masarap kahit walang sauce. Tawag na sa Chooks to Go Delivery Hotline 8687-1010 o online sa chookstogodelivery.com or via GrabFood at Foodpanda.
Kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay cherry loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, cherry loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
May namiss ka bang mga shoot, pasa at hiyawan? Ngayon, hindi na! Dahil araw-araw mo nang mapapanood ang mga paborito mong sports program sa TV. Watch us on these channels. Free TV Channel 41, Signal TV Channel 6, Sky Cable Channel 59. One Sports! Ito ang go-to tambayan for your favorite sports programs. Dito ka na sa paboritong tambayan mo pagdating sa sports.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay cherry loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, cherry loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Broadcasting live from TV5 Media Center. 25,000 watts ng balita, impormasyon, serbisyo, DWFM, Radyo 5, 92.3, News FM.
Power and Play. Game na sa Radyo 5 92.3 News FM.
Gusto lang po natin magpasalamat sa lahat po ng mga tagapagtaguyod at sumusuporta sa Power and Play. Thank you so much to Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum sa ganitong pabago-bago ang panahon, mga kapatid. Minsan iinit tapos biglang ulan. Kailangan natin ng matibay at protektadong bubong. Dapat ang bubong ay yerong may aluminum kapag may aluminum, tsak na pang matagalan. At isa lang ang alam kong dekalidad na yerong may aluminum, yan ang Cherry Loom, tibay protektado sa pang matagalang yero. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum.
Thank you!
Oh, parating na ang Cherry Tigo sa 2022 Philippine International Motor Show o PIMS. At handa ka na ba? Dadalo ang Cherry Auto Philippines sa 2022 PIMS bilang pinakabagong miyembro ng Chamber of Automotive Manufacturers of the Philippines o CAMPI. Hatid ng Cherry ang Innovation Revolution para sa iba't ibang klase ng automotive power katulad ng luxury, electrification at performance. Mag-enjoy sa smooth driving experience ng Tigo Crossover dahil sa world-class specs na engine, interior at exterior. At ito pa, may malaking pagdiriwang ang Cherry sa 2022 PIMS sa darating na September 15. Kahapon ata yun, ano? O inong isang araw. Isang pasabog ang darating sa launch ng pinakabagong lineup ng Cherry na kasama sa flagship Tigo 8 Pro Series. Ang bago ay ang pangmalakas ng offer mula sa Cherry Auto Philippines na may horsepower up to 390 horsepower, 2.0 turbo engine, quad exhaust at commanding front grills. So samahan ang Cherry Auto PH sa kanilang grand unveiling ngayong September 15 sa World Trade Center. Ay natapos na to, no? Alas 2 ng hapon. Para sa karagdagang impormasyon, bisitahin niyo po ang www.cherryauto.ph o sa kanilang official social media pages at Cherry Auto Philippines.
Thank you!
Chooks to go, ang nag-iisang manok ng bayan. Subukan ang kanilang pinakabagong oven roasted na mas pinasarap dahil sa nag-uumapaw na flavorful chicken juice. And try their first dine-in restaurant sa Lipa, Batangas, yung Chooks. So again, tangkilikin ang Chooks to go, ang nag-iisang manok ng bayan.
Thank you!
True religion is in the Philippines, where passion meets power. Experience it firsthand. For your best style choices, visit True Religion at Conrad S. Maison, Mall of Asia Complex, Resorts World Manila at Hacienda Designer Outlet, Silang, Cavite. True Religion.
Thank you!
Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo. Magpadala with confidence kahit para sa negosyo, personal bulk deliveries man yan. Kayang-kaya yan, i-deliver securely with Joyride. And of course, subukan nyo po ang motorcycle taxi ng Joyride, lalong-lalo na sa mga rush hour at ang pinakabagong Joyride car. So download the latest Joyride Super App now.
Thank you!
Elms Seafood Paluto, the latest offering of the Elms Resto Bar Group, located at Unit 2, Ground Floor, Cali Bistro, Ever, Commonwealth, Quezon City. Enjoy their delectable seafood menu in a relaxed, casual dining atmosphere for your Salo-Salo seafood meal. Elms Seafood Paluto.
Thank you!
Skin, your face and body anti-aging center with branches at Alabang Town Center and Green Hills, San Juan. For your skin assessments and treatment, call 0917-890-1640 and 0977-809-8886.
Thank you!
ASEA Subic Beach Resort. Experience the getaway that you deserve and dive into limitless happenings. Rejuvenating experiences and gastronomic adventures. ASEA Subic Beach Resort.
Thank you!
And of course, Power and Play is powered by Smart. Live Smart!
Thank you!
Maraming salamat po. Happy birthday nga pala kay Doc Richie. Na nag-birthday po mula sa ASEA. Maraming Doc Richie Sarmiento, ha. Alright, mga kaibigan, at this point, ipapasok na po natin at ilalagay natin ang spotlight sa ating bagong kampiyon sa In the Spotlight.
Power and Play with Noli Eala.
She is the latest toast of the town. Billboards everywhere at ang pagbubunyi sa kanyang pagkapanalo sa US Open Junior Women's Singles Championship. Ang kauna-unahang kampyonato ng bansa sa isang Grand Slam tennis event. Mga kaibigan, ang ating panayam sa ating pinagmamalaking tennis phenom, Alex Eala sa Power and Play.
Promise, kasama po natin ngayon ang ating kampiyon from the US Open Junior Singles title. Walang iba kundi si Alex Eala. Alex, congratulations. Thank you for joining us on Power and Play.
Hello, Tito Noli. Hello, everyone who's watching. Thank you so much for having me.
You know, it's probably been a wild few days since you won sa US Open, Alex. How crazy has it been in the last week since you won the title in New York?
It's been so good, so amazing, non-stop support and non-stop love. So I am super thankful to everyone who's cheered for me, everyone who's continued to support for me, and of course I know that there will be a lot more people following my journey, so I hope that I can rely on your support for future tournaments.
Well, you know, it has been amazing here in Manila, just to say the least. With everyone jubilating, celebrating, their billboards all over, Metro Manila. You are headline story of the newspapers, banner story, and you are, just ikaw yung laman ng balita, no, Alex? I know that you've had dreams of winning a Grand Slam title in your young career. And when you look at the way you've been celebrated, you've been congratulated, does it even come close to how you imagined it would be if ever you win a Grand Slam title?
It's gone beyond what I had imagined. I didn't expect all this recognition from such big names and people I look up to, and all these billboards, all these newspapers, and all these social media likes and comments and followers. It's a lot to take in. But I'm just trying to still focus on my tennis and my training, because to keep myself grounded, and I still do have a couple tournaments coming up.
You understand the magnitude of what you've done, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
No, because I mean, I'm the first ever for the Philippines in tennis in a major. I mean, what does it mean for you, Alex? What does this mean for you?
It means so much, and it means that I'm on the correct road. I'm on the correct path, because up till last week I've been preparing so much, and my whole life I've been working so hard. So this is definitely a milestone in my career, and something that I will never forget.
Were you surprised that it came at this time in your career? Was this really the timetable? You feel that this is really the time, or is this something that came late or something? Are you surprised that it came now?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, joining the US Open was, I would say, more of a last-minute decision. I only decided to go through with it a couple weeks before the tournament. Yeah. But once I found out, I set my heart, and that was my goal, to win the US Open. But I definitely think it came at the right time. Third time's the charm. This is my third time playing US Open Junior, and I think that this time I was the most prepared, and I was more deserving than the other years. I wouldn't say because I worked harder, but because I feel like my level has gone another step up from the past times that I've joined the tournament.
Aside from the obvious fact that this is a singles title and you've won majors in the Australian and in the French, but in the doubles, how does this differ from the past championships that you've had, past titles in a Grand Slam tournament?
Well, for me, singles is very different than doubles. I'm really a singles player. I focus on singles more. Although I do enjoy doubles, singles is my priority always. So this win is very different from the others, because I can say it was just me on court, and I was the one hitting all the shots, and I was the one making all the strategies, and of course with my team behind me. But I would say it's very different also because I know that no one's done it in the Philippines, so it definitely means a lot to me, this title.
The last time I spoke to you was just before you entered the finals. It was a very brief discussion, and you told me one of the important things that has kept you going in that tournament was your mental strength and your mental focus. Tell us about that, Alex. How important was that, especially in the finals? And of course, how you got to that level where you're now able to really harness that mental focus to win games?
Well, I think mental composure gives me a big edge, or whoever has the stronger mentality definitely has an advantage, because there were many times in the tournament where I was down a couple games, or down crucial points. But what matters to me is that I'm able to play well during those tight moments, and I think last week I was able to execute my strategies and think very clearly during those high pressure moments, which is why I was able to win.
There have been times in the past when, I followed your career, obviously. I've watched your games, kahit na mahirap maghanap ng link. At paulit-ulit yung pindot para lang makabalik dun sa match, no? But I followed it, and there were moments when I even messaged your dad na sinasabi ko, Insan, what about the strength of Alex? Parang, you've had problems with your back and stuff like that. But, what's obvious to me in this particular US Open is that you've become stronger and bigger. I mean, I was telling people, her thighs are massive. I said, that's an athlete's thighs. And the way your upper body is a lot more developed, and obviously you're stronger. Even your ground strokes are more powerful. Of course, your serve has been terrific. Do you agree? And what have you done? Was that part of the program, Alex?
I definitely agree that my fitness is so far from what it used to be. And that's a reflection of the work of my team and the planning and, of course, my work. And, I'm very proud of what I've done, what we've done, because I've increased the level of intensity of my playing. I've increased the quantity of my work, both fitness, both in the gym and both on the court. And I didn't get injured this whole year, which is very good. So being able to increase the load of work and not get injured is a huge win for me in itself. So I'm able to hold the rallies. I'm able to hold longer matches, and with more quality.
In your match against Lucy Havlikova, clearly your serve was better. In the first set, you won, I think, 72% of your first serves. And there was a moment, of course, in the second set. You started really on fire in the second set. And then you kind of tapered off. You had a couple of double faults in the second or third games. And then you picked it up again. No? Has this been a deliberate part of your development, focusing on your service?
Tito Noy, I cannot tell you how many baskets I would serve in the afternoon. You'd think my arm is about to fall off.
Wow.
But of course, the life of an athlete is a lot of work with this much improvement. So I can say that my serve improved from last year, but it's still not where I want it to be. But what's important to me is that I am able to adapt to different situations and obstacles, and I'm able to win even when my serve is not working, or even when my other shots aren't really working that day.
Now that I am in the PSC, and I'm trying to also develop regimens and programs for our various athletes in different sports, including tennis, of course. I want to understand a little bit about your training. What makes it effective in Rafa Nadal? What do you think is different from the way you train in Rafa Nadal from your past experiences?
Well, I think why I was able to develop my game so well, even in the Philippines when I was with my lolo, or in the Rafa Nadal, is because I have a team that's passionate and that really want me to improve. My coaches, they stay extra hours, and they really think about at night, like before they go to bed, like what the strategy is, or what I should do for training the next morning. So I think that was really the key to my development as a player. And alongside that, they understand that rest is also part of the training. So they push me a lot to my limits, but they understand that if I go way over my limit, then I can get burned out, I can get injured, so it's strategic rest.
All right, but in terms of actual techniques and actual equipment, are there specialized equipment that you use?
No, not that I would, nothing out of the ordinary, just your normal gym, treadmill, weights, whatever, and just a court and
nutrition.
Yeah, nutrition, that's a good one. I've been trying to work on it. I've been working on it. It's definitely an
you're
area.
You're stronger now.
Yeah. It's definitely an area I can improve in. But I would say I'm better. I'm better at it. I think for a teenager, it's one of the harder ones to to improve. But it's gotten better, and I'm happy about it. I'm happy where it is, and I intend to take it slow, step by step.
And you have a sports psychologist with you? You have a sports physiotherapist with you?
The academy does have physios. So it's so good because you have a relationship with them. They know your body as well, and they're accessible to all the players. But we do have psychologists in the academy, but I just choose not to see one.
I'm sure your parents, being always with you or at least online with you, is enough sports psychology to help you. and everybody in the family bonding you. So, but in that regard, do you? Because I've seen and we've heard Heidelin, for instance, talk about a complete team, and you're not talking about that. The same thing goes with Kaloyulo. These are all world-class athletes like you, Alex. That ang sinasabi nila, dapat talaga kumpleto ang lahat ng tulong for the athletes. Is that something that you feel is a formula, an absolute formula, if we want to get to the next level?
Well, definitely. I think that it's good to have many different opinions and many professional people and passionate people to help you get to where you want to be. But I believe that if you're so young and you're still starting out, or if you're mid-level or competition level, and you're not really a professional yet, you need to start slow. I think, and slowly build your team with people you trust. And as you get better and as you improve your level, you'll find people who you feel are necessary for you to improve and who you feel will be a good addition to your team.
Well, talking about that and talking about getting all the help from everyone, I read somewhere that you are one of those that was selected by a program called the Grand Slam Players Development Program. It is a program given by the ITF to promising and talented athletes all over the world to have an opportunity to be assisted. No? Can you tell us a little bit about this and how has it helped you?
So yes, I'm part of the ITF Grand Slam Development Fund. So they fund me a portion of my expenses, and it's helped me a lot because it's very costly, this this lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it stressed my parents out more than just one time. So it can be a big help. Any help I can get is it's meaningful to me, and it really does make a difference.
Terrific. We're very proud of you because I saw it, I read it, and you were among some of the best young players in tennis, and they were already projecting you to move forward, a lot more. Let me ask you a little bit about, a little personal thing, because marami na nagtatanong sa akin, Alex. Unang-una, saan mo daw nakuha yung tennis skills mo? Is it on the Eala side or on the Manyo?
Ay, hala!
So, liwanagin na natin ito mabuti, ha? Kasi ako, hindi ko kiniklaim yan. Bawal yung tanong na yan. But let me just ask you this. Okay, so let's just make it very clear. On record, who was the first one to teach you in tennis?
My lolo.
Your lolo. On the Maniego side.
Yeah.
Okay, liwanagin natin yan. Kasi yung lolo ni Alex po, sa Eala side, ang magaling ho yun magpatawa. Pero magaling ho mag-tennis yung lolo niya sa Maniego side. But when you look at that formative years, Alex, what were the best things that you got from him and the advice that you got from him that has carried you all throughout your career?
A lot of things. I think one of the biggest things is, of course, discipline, which I also get from my parents. Learning how to manage my time on tennis, learning how to manage my time for school, learning that there's different moments for different things in your life, and also being open-minded. I'm very open to suggestion whenever my team suggests something new. Should we change this technique? Should we do this? And I'm always open-minded to hearing them out.
Do you still miss the Philippines? A lot of people are asking me that. And of course, you're based now in Spain. And obviously, your parents go there a lot. Your dad is very focused and dedicated as being your dakilang assistant. But do you still miss the Philippines? And if ever, do you ever plan on going back?
Yes, of course I miss the Philippines. I mean, everyone's there, everything's there. There's no place like home. Nothing feels the same as when I'm in Manila. But it's very hard to find a good time. Of course, mahaba yung flight, and I'm super busy with all the tournaments. I just won one, but I have to focus on the next one, and I'm all the way in the US. So, mahirap maghanap ng oras, and as much as I want to right now to see all these advertisements and all these, and see my family and just tell them about the week and just tell them about my matches, but ganun talaga. I have to push forward, and I think maybe on another side it can be good for me, because I think I'm so young, 17, and to be able to get all this recognition, it can be overwhelming for a teenager, and I don't want it to get into my head. I still want to stay grounded, and I still want to focus on my tennis.
In that regard, how do you stay grounded, Alex?
I don't know. My parents are a huge part in how I think, and I still know that I want to achieve so much more. Like, my personal goals I'm nowhere near my personal goals right now. And it's hard to think that I just won US Open when I'm dying on the treadmill. So there's many things that keep me grounded.
All right. Well, one of the things that made us so proud, of course, is when you spoke in our own language, in sa wikang Filipino, and it was a complete speech sa wikang Filipino. Ngayon, sabi ko sa mga tao, ako ang nagbulong dyan. But did you actually plan that? Was that really, or was that something that really just came out of your heart? That all of a sudden you wanted to speak in our own language.
I knew I wanted to speak Tagalog. I didn't know what I was gonna say. Hindi ko din pinano yan. But there were so many Filipinos in the crowd. I think that I knew that it would really make them happy, and I feel like for them to come out and to support me, I should also give something back to them.
What did that feel like when you're in the hallowed grounds of Flushing Meadows in a victory celebration in front of not only Filipinos but foreigners? What did it feel like speaking sa sarili nating wika? And what did it mean to you?
It meant a lot, and it was definitely a very emotional moment for me. Alam mo naman, maiyakin ako. kapag sa mga speeches daw. But
yan ang Eala, yung iyakin sa speeches.
No, actually, maiyakin ako in private. But of course that day it was hard to keep it in. And of course, I think that they should know I'm Pinoy, and they should know what I say is true, because I always talk about playing for the Philippines and playing for the country, whatever. But in this sense na I'm speaking Tagalog, it backs that up. It backs up all my statements, diba?
Right. Talagang Pilipinong-Pilipino. Taas noo kahit na kanino. Alright. What's next? What's next, Alex? That's why you can't go home. You're playing a couple of more tournaments. What is this for?
Now I'm doing more professional tournaments. Actually, the US Open was my first junior of the year. Mm-hmm. So I'm surprised at how well I was able to hold myself, and so then I'm here for 2 more weeks in this area in California. For a training block, and then after I do 2 or 3 more weeks of tournaments before I go back to Spain.
And you are going to compete in both circuits, the women's, the WTA, and of course in the juniors. Is that the plan?
Yes, more women's. I think for this year, I'm done with juniors. Just for this year.
Okay. For this
For this year. Next year, I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. I can't really. Hindi ko din alam, so I can't confirm anything.
No plans yet. But are we looking at one more run in the juniors, in the majors, Australian Open?
Possibly. Depends then kung makapasok ako sa women's.
Makaqualify.
Yeah. So we'll see. It depends also on my performance these next few weeks.
All right. Well, as a parting question, Alex, it's, sabi mo nga in the beginning, it's so much to take in. It's just been a wild ride, and obviously, this is something that is a blessing. Everything has come down. Everything has come together. Even for me, when I assumed the PSC chairmanship and you win, I mean, for me, it's wow. It's like it's a blessing and it's a gift from from the sports gods to have my own niece win for the country. How does this victory change you or your outlook moving forward? In your life, in your career, and your responsibilities.
Well, this win is definitely very meaningful, and I will take for the rest of my life. But it doesn't change anything on my outlook on how I should work on. What I need to do. I've always known what I needed to do. I've always known the sacrifice it takes to get where I want to be. So even though this is such a huge win, it's another milestone in my life. And, part of being grounded, I think, is just allowing myself to continue my work and continue keeping my head down.
Well, very well said, and said from a true champion. Alex, congratulations again from the entire nation. Truly proud moment for the Philippines and our family. And, clearly we will continue to support you wherever you go. Maraming salamat. And,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mga kaibigan, yan po ang ating US Open champion, Alex Eala, sa Power and Play. Again, a wonderful talk, and saludo ako ulit sa aking pamangkin, at sana po patuloy na siya'y biyayaan ng ating Panginoon ng patuloy na magandang kalusugan, and of course tagumpay sa lahat ng kanyang mga gawain sa mundo ng tennis. Ang kanyang panalo ay panalo po ng buong bayan. Bago tayo magpatuloy from one tennis champion to another, silipin muna natin ang ating This Week in Sports History.
Power and Play with Noli Eala.
September 12, 2004 o 18 anyos na po nakakaraan nang nakuha ni Roger Federer ang pinakaunan niyang US Open title. Ang bata pa ni Roger dito. Na-sweep ng Noy budding star si Lleyton Hewitt ng Australia para sa pang-apat niyang Grand Slam. Fast forward 2 decades later, opisyal nang nagretiro ang isa sa mga itinuturing na greatest of all time ng may 20 Grand Slam championships. Roger Federer wins his first US Open title this week in sports history. Grabe, no? Ngayon ay nagretiro na. Talagang yan. Legend, iconic, and he changed the game. Kasama niya, of course, si Rafa Nadal na kung saan bumati rin kay Alex Eala. At yung pong ating isa pang tinitinghala si Novak Djokovic. They formed the three greatest rivalries in all of sports, lalong-lalo na sa tennis. Alright mga kaibigan, sa ating pong patuloy na paghahandog ng mga iba't ibang klaseng sports sa Power and Play, ngayong araw pong ito tayo maswerte na ating pong makakasama ang mga nai-involved naman sa isang sport na emerging. Ito po yung tinatawag na netball. Lately, ang Philippine Netball Team po natin ay nanalo ng plate title sa 2022 Asian Netball Championships. Tinalo ng Pilipinas ang Brunei sa score na 42-38. Ito po yung malaking achievement, lalo't noong August 2021 lang nakakuha ng full membership sa World Netball ang Philippine Netball Federation. At para po ma-introduce pa lalo ang sport ng netball sa ating lahat, makakasama po natin ngayon sa Slambook ang netball group.
Power and Play with Noli Eala.
Kasama po natin ngayon ang Philippine Netball Coach Piao Fedilaga o Fediliaga at si team captain or hindi yata. Si Eunice Hapone, team captain ng netball. Magandang umaga, Coach, at magandang umaga, Eunice. Dalang, mukhang nakamute pa si Coach. Coach Piao?
Yes, sir.
Yun.
Good morning po.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. At Eunice, good morning sa'yo. Narinig ba tayo nakamute si Eunice?
Morning.
Yun, okay. Well, alam nyo, dito kasi gusto natin ma-introduce naman mga iba't ibang klase ng sports na umaangat na talaga, no? Kagaya nung congratulations sa ating pagkapanalo dun sa plate title, Coach. Gaano ba kahalaga yung panalo natin yon, Coach?
Sir, masyadong overachieve nga kami dito eh.
Oo.
Kasi una talaga naming gusto mangyari is just to qualify for the IMAG. Kasi before that, nasa 9th rank tayo. Then, nag-improve tayo sa first game pa lang when we beat India. So, na-achieve namin kaagad yung gusto namin to qualify kasi top 8 po. Then, after nyan, sunod-sunod na po yung panalo. Although may isa tayong talo against Sri Lanka, na sunod-sunod na po namin yung panalo nung against Brunei and Maldives. Kaya na-achieve natin tong gold medal.
Grabe, no? Congratulations, talagang malaking bagay yan na iba't ibang klaseng team sports ang umaangat. Coach, matanong kita bago ko tanongin si Eunice, kasi maraming hindi pa rin nakakala. Akala nila sa netball ay parang basketball, no? Pero halos magkamag-anak yan eh, no? So, ano ba talaga ang netball at paano yan laruin? Very, very briefly lang, ano ba ang simple na mahalagang mga rules tungkol sa netball?
Actually, sir, yung netball, tinawag nila before, it's like an Australian basketball pang girls talaga. Pero how we play this, we have 7 players inside the court instead of 5. Then each player has an only designated area to play with. Kasi may kanya-kanya silang role, like we have the goal shooter and goal attack, which sila lang ang pwedeng mag-shoot niyan around their area. Merong specific area lang po para makapag-shoot. Then we have the wing attack and the center, which usually feed the shooters. Then at the other end of the court, we have the wing defense, goal defense, and goalkeeper who play their part as a defensive unit. Then ang pinaka-major role po dyan is wala tayong tinatawag sa basketball is the traveling. And tapos sa defense naman, hindi tayo dikitan dito. Once yung tao niya naka-receive ng bola, you have to move 3 feet away. Tsaka ka pwede mag-hands over, yung mirror the ball, pressuring the ball, ganun po. And then you only have 3 seconds to hold on to the ball. You need to pass it at walang dribble. Yun yung pinakamasaya.
Oo nga, no? So walang dribble, walang maraming puro pasahan. Pero ito ba nilalaro din ng quarters din? Meron bang ilang minuto laro?
We have 4 quarters. 4 quarters, 15 minutes each. Tapos tuloy-tuloy po yan, sir. Walang stop niyan. 15 minutes running time.
Walang time out.
Walang time out. Wala rin po.
Okay. Ba, maganda, no? Eunice, ikaw, gaano ka ba katagal na naglalaro ng netball? At ano ba ang mga personal achievements mo, experiences mo? Andiyan pa ba si Eunice? Mukhang nag-break ang ating signal. Eunice?
Hello?
Ayun, yan. Eunice?
Yes po.
Ayan.
Ayun po, 8 years na po ako naglalaro ng netball. So since nag-start po yung netball dito sa Philippines, kasama ko po si Coach Piao nung nagkaroon po ng introduction yung Netball Singapore dito sa Pilipinas. And yun po, interesting po kasi yung game kaya tinry ko pong laruin siya. So since 2014 po, nung dumating po yung netball dito sa Philippines, nag-start na po akong maglaro. And ayun po.
Bakit netball, Eunice? Ikaw ba galing ka sa basketball? Bakit netball ang nahiligan mo?
Nung high school po ako, nag-basketball din po ako, tsaka volleyball po. Tapos, nung college na po, paiba-iba din po ako ng sport eh. Bali, sa UAAP po, naglaro po ako ng taekwondo and fencing. So naging interesado lang po kasi medyo bago sa paningin ko yung netball. And nakadress po kasi yung damit namin, yung uniform. So, medyo interesting siya.
Yun ang nakapag-ano sa'yo, naka-attract sa'yo sa laro. Pero yun sa tingin mo, itong netball, kasi sabi nga ni Coach kanina, ito parang nakatayo lang, ititira mo yung bola, no? 3 feet away yung depensa, etc. Ito ba ay bagay sa Pilipino? Bagay sa Pinay?
Opo, bagay na bagay po kasi actually nga po nung first po kami nag-start, sabi nila, yung mga Pilipino makaka-adapt sila agad kasi basketball community to eh. I mean, di ba pag sinabing sa Philippines, ang unang sport na may isip nila, basketball, sa kahit sa kanto. So, talagang, kumbaga, ito yung makaka-adapt agad yung mga Pilipino kasi mahilig tayo sa ball games eh. And halos similar.
Pero in terms of being a player ng netball, ano sa tingin mo mga katangian para ikaw ay gumaling at para ikaw ay maging effective player sa team?
Actually yung pinakaunang-una po katulad ng sinasabi ko lagi ni Coach Piao, yung court sense po kasi ng isang basketball player, napakahalaga po sa netball kasi yung laro po ng netball kasi is kumukuha ka ng space, nag-giveaway ka and give and go kasi siya. So, hindi siya katulad ng basketball na kapag nasukol ka, pwede ka pang mag-dribble ng kumbaga parang makakagawa ka pa ng way mo para makaalis. Pero dito kasi, once na nakatanggap ka ng bola, that's it. Kailangan yung teammates mo gumalaw para ma-free up yung sarili nila to get a ball.
Talagang ito teamwork ang importante talaga dito. Yung individual skills secondary na lang pero yung teamwork, yung pasahan ay napakahalaga. Coach, again, ang sabi mo nga ngayon, malaking bagay yung pagkapanalo natin. Kamusta ang programa ninyo at sa tingin mo ano pa ang kailangan ng netball, ng Philippine netball para lalo pa tayong umangat?
Actually, sir, aside dito sa national team natin, ang talagang malaking goal namin ngayon na gusto ma-achieve is yung grassroots po natin. Since pandemic po, nagkaroon na kami ng mga intro to netball. Per region po ang ginawa namin. Then, ang tinarget namin muna is yung mga teachers and coaches.
Very good.
Tapos, para po pagdating ng face-to-face, pwede na po silang magbuo ng sarili nilang team.
Very good. Alam niyo, natutuwa ako marinig yan sapagkat yan naman ang talaga magiging sentro ng programa natin sa Philippine Sports. At yung pag-atake ninyo sa grassroots ay napakahalaga para lalo pang maging popular at tangkiliking ang inyong sport. In terms of the national team, kamusta ang national team natin, Coach? Marami ba kayong pool? Ano ang susunod na mga laban ng national team?
Actually, sir, right now, officially we have 19 players sa national training pool po natin, pero may mga dumarating na po na nakikitraining, learning the new sports. And then, after this, pagbalik namin, we're trying to have another tryout para lang po, we're planning to boost more yung lineup natin. Kasi next year po, ayun na po yung IMAG natin. I think that will be on November. So, gusto namin medyo palakasin pa and looking for tall players. Para po mas maging competitive pa tayo.
Dito ba sa netball kumukuha rin kayo ng mga Phil foreign players? Meron bang ganon, Eunice? Meron pa tayong mga kakampi na ganyan o puro local at homegrown itong mga talent natin?
Sorry po, as of the moment, talagang all Filipino po talaga yung lineup natin. Kaya proud na proud kami, at least walang import dito so far.
Pero alam natin, nilalaro yan ng mga Commonwealth countries, no, including Australia, na talagang napakalakas na ganyan. Alam naman natin na marami ding Pilipino sa mga bansang ganyan, no? Meron pa tayong plano na mag-recruit din ng mga players mula sa ibang bansa na mga may dugong Pilipino?
Yes, sir. Meron naman, actually, dati pa may mga gusto na maglaro for the team. Kaya lang, syempre, ang problema natin lagi yung budget.
Yan ang naririnig ko lagi, budget.
Bahala ka na dyan, chairman, ha?
Siyempre, kailangan nating suportahan yan. Coach, ang tanong ko dito, no, in terms of the tertiary level, yan ba kayo, may plano ba kayong ipasok yan sa mga collegiate competitions natin, katulad ng UAAP, NCAA, yung mga Prisa, yung iba't iba pang mga liga natin sa buong bansa?
Actually, sir, yes po. Kaya lang syempre, ngayon, ang hirap din i-adapt ng mga schools ngayon. Especially, like before the pandemic, we tried going to different, actually exclusive school kasi for girls to eh. So, nagkaroon na naman tayo ng intro dyan. Kaya lang, syempre, ang hirap dyan yung mga court natin kasi very different yung court namin with the basketball court eh. Medyo mas mahaba po kami. In terms of using the court or ipa-introduce nila sa PE, medyo hindi pa po. Kaya ang naisip namin is going to by region para ang namin yung palarong pambansa sana kasi sa per region kaya nilang gumawa eh. Malawak sa mga sa iba-ibang provinces eh. So kung ma-introduce yan sa palaro, I'm sure pwede na yan dito sa atin sa Metro Manila yung mga schools local tournament natin.
So ngayon, saan kayo nagpa-practice, Eunice? Considering, sabi mo nga, kailangan nyo ng ibang size ng court. Saan kayo nagpa-practice?
Ngayon po, nasa City Arena po kami. Tapos, meron po kaming court sa Santa Rosa. So, yung government po ng Santa Rosa, very generous po sila. Pinapayaran po nila yung court na may official size sila ng netball. So, yun po yung naging venue natin for Southeast Asian Games noong 2019. Na dito, nung ginanap po dito. So, at least yun po, may official netball size po tayo na court.
Would you, invite ng mga kabataan na subukan ito at kung gusto ng mga kabataan, saan sila dapat pumunta, Eunice, para makatry sila ng netball?
Ano po? Actually po, pwede po silang i-follow po nila yung page po namin, yung Philippine National Netball Team po, si Club, and yung Philippine Netball Federation po. Yun po yung Facebook page po namin para nandun po yung mga details namin kapag nagkakaroon po kami ng trainings, clinics, and yung mga tryouts po.
All right, and before I let you go, Eunice, ikaw ba ay masaya sa development ng netball and ano ang nakikita mong magiging lakbay ninyo now that you're preparing for the IMAG?
Po, sobrang saya po talaga kasi yun nga po, sabi po ni Coach Piao, ang ini-aim lang po talaga namin mag-qualify sa IMAG and sobrang bonus po na naka-pick po kami and nakapag-uwi kami ng plate. So, yun po, sana tuloy-tuloy na po yung pag-angat ng netball and mas makilala pa po siya and laruin pa siya ng mas maraming kabataan.
Oo nga. Coach Piao, before ikaw rin, ang huli kong tanong sa iyo is ano ba ang kailangan para lalo pang gumanda ang ating paglalaro ng netball?
Sir, yun, unang-una, yung sana magkaroon po kami dito sa Metro Manila ng sariling court. Actually, sir, hindi naman yung sariling court kasi may mga basketball court naman na longer na pwede namin paglaruan. Kaya lang, syempre, yung mga goal nila, hindi na matanggal eh.
Oo nga.
Usually, we are 2 meters longer.
Oo.
Yun. Yun lang naman, sir, para dyan. Then, ang ano lang namin talaga is to look for the grassroots and new players para lang po mag-boost yung lineup natin.
Well, ating sisilipin ang programa ng netball and certainly bibigyan natin ng suporta yan. Lalong-lalo na ngayon ay talagang gumaganda at umaangat ang sport ng netball. Congratulations again, Coach at Eunice, and we wish you all the best. Magkita-kita tayo muli sa Philippine Netball.
Thank you, sir.
Mga kaibigan, ang ating pong Philippine Netball Coach, Coach Piao Fedeliaga, at of course ang kanilang team captain, si Eunice Hapone. Suportahan natin yan. Bago tayo magtapos, mga kapatid, i-announce ko lang yung mga nanalo ng Joyride top-up promo sa Power and Play po. Nanalo ng 1,000 pesos sa e-wallet credits. Si Neljan Reyes, congratulations sa iyo. G. Robroda, nag-download ito ng Joyride Super App. Berlin Magay, Chris Cueto at si Tess Lapas Magpayo. Marami po salamat sa inyong paglahok at makakatanggap kayo ng message mula sa Joyride at ang inyong premyo na 1,000 pesos e-wallet credits mula sa Joyride Super App. Naku, marami sana tayong mga babasahin pa mga tumugon doon sa ating Pulso ng Bayan. Isa lang sabi niya, dun sa tanong natin, ano bang expectations nyo sa Bay Area Dragons sa Commissioner's Cup? I expect a physical kind of play each of the PBA teams they will play. I also expect this would be beneficial to Bay Area Dragons and also to the PBA playing against each other. But I truly believe Bay Area Dragons are not going to be the Commissioner's Cup champion. Talaga naman. Itong si Edgar Blas, Pilipinong-Pilipino, sumusuporta sa ating mga kupunan sa PBA. Well, marami pa pong nagbigay ng komentaryo. Marami pong salamat sa inyong lahat na again sumubaybay at nakisama sa atin ngayong araw pong ito. Sa lahat po ng mga panauhin at lahat po ng mga supporters ng Power and Play. Lagi ko po sinasabi tuwing Sabado, bawal ang masungit. At sa lahat po ng ating gawain, Ad Maiorem Dei Gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Kami po ang 1PH Teleserbisyo para sa Pilipino. Susunod na ang inay ko po. Happy Sports Weekend mga kapatid! More power, more play!
Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko. Para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at magpapatalo. Ipagdiwang natin ang Pilipino. Yan ang Pinoy. Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ang bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulo, Chumbe, Sibay, Lakay, Amiga. Sama-samang pakita ang galing natin katropa. Sa kapwa ko Pilipino.